Hi everyone, it's Ono here, and this is a short video on how to make a WebSockets client with TypeScript and the WS npm package. We have a previous video on how to build a server, and right now we're going to build a client and we're going to test it with that server to make sure that everything is working, right? Tying the pieces together. All right, let's get started. The first thing I'm doing here is go to the directory where I want to create my project. You can see here we have the WebSocket server TS for TypeScript, and we're going to create the same folder but for the client. And if you've seen the previous video, we're doing the same process. If not, I'll walk you through it in a second. We're going to create a new npm package. I put -y because that pre-fills the package.json file with defaults. We're going to install again our dependencies. So basically npm install ws save. I'll make this big so you can see it. And then we're going to install again, but save dev, which is the same as -d, for our development dependencies. These are TypeScript, types node, and types ws. So we install, we get all of our packages, and now what we need to do is tsc init. So we create the default tsconfig.json file that we need to run code in TypeScript, and we can do touch client.ts to create an empty TS file that we can edit here and maybe run here console log hello WebSockets client. So this is just to test that we can run TS node with our client.ts and that code runs. All right, so everything seems to be set properly. I'm going to run the code.shortcut to open this project on Visual Studio Code. And you can see that we have the files that we've created. So client.ts, we have the package.json and the tsconfig, package-doc.json because we've run npm install, and node models that has all of the packages and their dependencies of the things that we've installed. So if we open client.ts right now, we only have this console log hello WebSockets client statement. We're going to remove that, and we're going to state the purpose of this file. Starts a WebSocket client and connects to a server. And this comes from https npmjs.org package ws. This is the package that we're using, and these examples were grabbed and slightly modified from there. So here we're just going to import WebSocket from WS. We're going to define our port. There's going to be 1234. And we're going to create a new WebSocket client. New WebSocket. We put here the URL, which is going to be WS localhost, and then our port. So now we can define different events. What happens when we open, when we receive a message, when we receive an error, right? And in this example, we're just going to handle ws on. You see here, we get autocomplete on close, error, message, open, ping, pong, upgrade, and expecting response. This is the great magic of TypeScript. We're getting autocompletion because we have the types for the ws library. That is the library that we're using. So I'm just going to go here with ws on open. We get a handler function that we're not going to touch at the moment. And we'll put here a handler for message, which actually will give us some data. So in here, we could say received a message, and we can print that message. And on open, we could actually send a message, right? We could actually send, hi, this is a client. All right. So we do have here the minimal code that we can get for our client in TypeScript. And I'm going to add a statement here that is going to say that we have connected, right? So this is just to know that we've connected to a given WebSocket server. And the message is from the server. All right, so let's test this code now. I do have another window here open from our previous video where we executed tsnode server.ts, and our WebSocket server is already listening at port 1234 in our local machine. So that means that this localhost URL should work with that port because it's actually the same port. So here I do tsnode client.ts, and let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So you see that magic that happened there? I clicked here on tsnode client. The client told us that it connected. So that means that this open handler got triggered, right? So it opened a connection. So it actually printed this client connected, and then it sent this "hi, this is a client" message. The server then said, okay, I received a message from a client which says, "Hi, this is a client," which is this message. And then the client actually received a message from the server that says, "Hello, this is server.ts." You can go to understand a bit more of the code of the server to the other previous video that we have. But in a nutshell, when the WebSocket received that open connection, it printed the message that the client had received, because we have this handler when we receive a message on the server. And then here we sent a message that said, "Hello, this is server.ts," which is actually here. So this was in a nutshell how you could set up a client that can connect to an existing WebSocket server, and it's going to handle the open connection event and the message. We could handle others. And in future videos, I expect to tell you how you can also pass more intricate messages as JSON objects, so you can parse the data in the server or different clients and then trigger an action or handle those methods and events according to the data that was sent. I'll remind you that you can like this video if you want to support the playlist and the videos that I'm uploading here. And you can subscribe if you're going to get notified when I have new videos or when I go live next. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.